Hey, welcome to the CMO Whisper Show. I'm your host, Steve Olensky. Part marketing practitioner, part ad agency veteran, part journalist. I was a writer for Forbes for 10 years. I've had so many insightful conversations over the years with business leaders, to athletes, to celebrities, to, of course, CMOs. The only difference now is instead of sharing those insights through written form, I'm doing it this way.
My guest this week is Andrea Brimmer, the Chief Marketing and PR Officer at Ally Financial, where she leads the company's integrated marketing strategy and brand transformation. Since joining Ally in 2006 and launching the brand, or I guess say relaunching the brand in 2009, right? She has redefined what a financial services company can be, putting consumers first and driving bold, disruptive growth. Love. Under her leadership, Ally has earned spots on Fast Company's Brands That Matter, and Brimmer herself has been recognized as one of Forbes' most influential CMOs 5 times, earning a place in the 2024 Forbes CMO Hall of Fame. An absolute trailblazer in the industry. She's also been honored by Adweek, Fast Company again, and she runs it for her creativity, leadership, and cultural impact. Andrea, I know we've known each other, gosh, it's got to be almost 10 years, but we got disconnected, got together. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh my gosh, of course. It's a pleasure, and it's always good to see you.
The pleasure is all mine. So I want to jump in right away to the Ally brand and the evolution, right?
Right.
Both looking back and then eventually looking forward. So you helped build the Ally brand from the ground up, and you introduced what's called the quote, do it right mantra in 2016. First, let's look back. Pivotal moments from then till now.
Yeah, definitely. I think the birth of the brand itself is one of those things that I will always look at with great pride and incredible fondness, because it was an unbelievable opportunity for me and my team. And you think about when we launched the brand, we launched in the middle of the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. And if you think about the mood of the consumer at the time, they had nothing but disdain and terrible fear at that point in time in terms of what was happening around them. And we created something that had never really been conceived of in this category, and we brought it to market really quickly. You know, one of the things that I always talk about is we launched a digital bank the same year that Apple launched the smartphone. So we took this massive bet that everybody was going to be banking in the palm of their hand. And so to me, that was a pivotal moment, right? The way that we decided to bring our brand to life and the way that we decided that to be digitally native and that as our storefront. I think the second thing for me that I kind of look back at and think about was just the fact that I think we changed the behavior of an entire industry that had largely not been disrupted for over 100 years. And you see so many have evolved towards solving for customer pain points, acting honorably, thinking about making it easier, being more transparent, improving customer centricity. So I take all of those things as big W's and giant kind of pivotal moments for our brand.
I didn't realize the digital bank was launched the same year as the iPhone.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. It feels like we've had our iPhones for our whole life, doesn't it?
Right. And it also sucks, and I'll say it for you, because that's what grabbed all the headlines.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, it's kind of funny because when we launched the bank, I mean, the original thesis of the company was that the bank was simply going to be a funding source for our auto asset. And it was never meant to be anything more than that. And we realized about a year in that we had created this really prized jewel, and that it had the ability to serve a much bigger purpose that is simply fund our auto asset, and that we had literally changed the category forever. And that really was the catalyst then for the growth of the Ally brand and the expansion into other lines of businesses, and really, I think, the impetus for what Ally has become, and this big belief that, you know, financial services are supposed to actually serve customers. And I think that's one of the things that really drove the idea of do it right, which you mentioned a second ago, the golden rule. We really believe within Ally of living by the golden rule and doing unto others as you would want done to yourself. And I think that's been such a key differentiator for us.
You just inspired me. I put my own copywriter hat on for a second. I'm going to give you a tagline for free. You ready?
Please.
We're putting the services back in financial services.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm only half joking, but that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
And how the industry as a whole has just devolved, not evolved, devolved.
Right. I mean, there was no transparency. There was no straightforwardness. There were, and still are, unfortunately, exorbitant fees. One of the examples that I'm really proud of at Ally is that a few years ago, we made the decision to waive overdraft fees. And if you think about and abolish them at Ally, we don't have them. And if you think about overdraft fees impact those that can least afford them, right? If I'm overdrafting, I'm not overdrafting because I felt like it. I'm overdrafting because I don't have the money to pay. And that was a really seismic shift in the industry. That's what financial services that truly serve is about. And we had this great line when we launched Ally, and the line was, we make money with you, not off you. And that's been one of my favorite lines that we've ever created. And it's been such a guiding North Star for Ally. And I think it's one of the reasons why we're all really proud to work there.
That's one of those, that is anything but broken, don't fix it. Keep using that line because it's brilliant.
Right. It's a mic drop, right?
It's a mic drop. And you and I both know we've done this quote long enough where some marketers will go, well, I think we need to refresh that. No.
Yeah, that's a key point.
No.
Right.
So, okay, let's look ahead. Where's it going? 3, 5, 7, 10 years? Of course, now in the AI age, right? How do we see that not only the brand growing, but just the industry as a whole?
Yeah, I think that the industry is going to go through really significant metamorphosis, right? If you just think literally about what's happened to search in the last year, and you think about agentic search, and who are we marketing to anymore? Are we marketing to people? Or are we marketing to AI agents that will then recommend your brand? That is a mind-boggling thing to think about, right? You think about the complexity of the media environment, the disillusionment of consumers with brands that have made promises that are no longer keeping them around diversity, inclusion, and belonging. You think about how distracted consumers are. There's a lot just there to unpack. And then you marry that with the challenges around human capital. How do you future-proof your workforce? How do you ensure that you make space for a constant learning agenda, because you can't stand still in this industry, and you have to be able to be on this continual learning path along with doing your day job. And so the complexity of these jobs is at a level that I've never seen before. And those are the things that, that I spend the majority of my day, probably the majority of my night thinking about. I do my day job during the day. and my night thinking about all of these kinds of things.
I know. That's funny you say that. People never say, like, what's your night job? Because so thank you for sharing what your night job is.
Exactly.
Next one, I'm so interested to talk about the Ally's pledge about what is, right? And I think it was 2023.
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yep.
With the pledge. And for those who are not familiar, it's a 50-50 pledge to equal media spending in men's and women's sports by the year 2027.
Yep.
Right. So 3 years in, what are we seeing?
3 years in, we are seeing not only seismic change inside of Ally, but also in the industry. One, we are within what I call spitting distance of hitting the pledge, very, very close to hitting it. And we'll definitely hit it ahead of the 2027 objective. Two, I think you've seen just an incredible amount of inertia around women's sports. And I'm really proud of, I think, being one of the brand architects that has created that inertia and shine a light on awareness for other brands to get involved and to look at this as a space that has incredible opportunity and has incredible value. 3, incredible business results for us. Massive brand value growth, exceptional favorability and sentiment. 65% of everybody come to our website is female. Customers that are fans of female sports are 6 times more likely to open an Ally account and grow their relationship with us. One of only 4 banking brands that grew in terms of trust last year and grew the fastest. And so I think we're seeing nothing but a really good hunch that we had and saw around a big corner, and it's paying off.
Well, you just kind of, I think, answered one of my next questions about the biggest surprise or learning, but I want to give you a chance to repeat that stat about trust. Say that again.
One of only 4 banking brands that grew last year in terms of consumer trust and growing faster than any other banking brand.
That's remarkable.
And the other stat that I'm really proud of is that our brand finance measures industry brand valuation. Our brand valuation last year grew 32%. The category dropped 3 percentage points. So think about that as a 35% swing. And, that's incredible. Our brand valuation in the last 10 years has grown 500%. Last year was our biggest jump ever. Now, I can't say all of that is because of what we did in women's sports, but I certainly think that platform enabled us to punch above our weight and carve out a very differentiated space. And it's certainly what I think has landed us on the Fast Company Brands That Matter list for the last 3 years. And by the way, we're the only financial services company that's ever made that list and ever made it for 3 straight years.
Wow. That's remarkable, and a massive feather in yours and your teams and everybody's cap.
I could not be more proud of Ally, the team. And the thing that I love about the pledge is that it is a pride point across the organization. This isn't a marketing thing. It wasn't a PR stunt. It is something that the entire company, all the way up to our CEO, are incredibly proud of. And when you've got a CEO on an earnings call talking about the status of our 50-50 pledge, a company has got it deep seated in their soul that this is the right thing to do. And so pride point.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm so glad you said it's not a PR stunt, because I can guarantee you that was the initial, even 3 years in, people are still thinking this is just a ploy.
Steve, I played soccer at Michigan State. I'm a varsity soccer for 4 years. I'm a product of Title IX. When we made the pledge, it was the 50th anniversary of Title IX. Title IX, like a lot of other protections, are under siege. And so we wanted to do something that was real and something that was meaningful and something that was actually going to make change. And the investment has been one of those things that's done so. And if you think about it, right, not only have we done it on the media side, but being able to get the NWSL championship game moved to prime time, first time ever that a women's championship game was moved to prime time as a result of our partnership with the league and CBS. That's meaningful. That's real. That's not PR stuff. A multi-million-dollar deal with Disney where 95% of the commitment went to women's sports, and Disney spent 6 months moving programming around to move women's sports into better and prime time slots as a result of our deal. That's real. That's not PR stunt. Investing, being the founding partner in Unrivaled, being on the sleeve of every kit of NWSL, now being the new financial services partner of WNBA. Those are all real and meaningful things. And then supporting emerging media platforms like Remedia and The Gist and Just Women's Sports and all of these things that are what I would call kind of the shoulder content that's building the ecosystem around women's sports. Those are all real acts. And so, deeds, not words. And I feel like we're doing the deeds.
I'm going to use a word you're probably uncomfortable, but I'll say it in the context of not just you, but the entire team. And that's legacy. And what you're creating is that legacy that you're going to leave behind.
Yeah.
And I will say it for you. That's amazing. I'm very proud of you and the work you're doing, because I think so many of us, and I don't want to get on my soapbox, but realize the impact we can have, right? Because it's only marketing. Oh, it's only a commercial. It's an advert. No, it's really not.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I'm humbled by it. I have an incredible team that is, deeply committed to doing this work as well. And I'm a big believer that you come into these positions and we have a platform. I mean, the reality is, the CMOs, we have a platform. And we can garner a lot of attention and we can make real change. And if we waste that platform, that's on us. And I've never been one to want to waste a good platform. And for me, this is this melding of a personal passion and a real business opportunity, and to be able to see the accretive value that it's created for our company, and also the meaningful change that it's making in the world is probably the thing that I've been able to do in my career that I'm the most proud of.
As you should be.
Thank you.
As you should be. And I'll say it for you. So let me move to streaming and content if I can.
Sure.
I know Ally's really big in owning, right? You're into owning your own content, not just sponsoring.
Right.
Side Hustlers, I think, is one.
Yeah. Really proud of that relationship with Hello Sunshine.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that. And then we'll segue into why you believe so much in owning the content, not just sponsoring it.
Yeah, we Sarah Haddon and the team and Sarah Ray over there, just absolutely incredible partners. And I think we both had an analogous vision around how could a brand and a production company come together to create meaningful content. And we created Side Hustlers, 2 seasons so far that have run on Roku. We're also working on another piece of content right now called For the W, which is the story of female athletes. And the reason that I love this notion of owning content is it gives you the opportunity to find authentic ways to do your storytelling, but also to provide value to the consumer. And that's what content should really do, right? It should reward, provide value, entertain. I don't like just those gratuitous insertions into content of like, oh, there's this character in a show doing this like cheesy, awkward look at the Ally app, right?
It feels forced.
It feels forced, and it doesn't add value to the viewer.
Right.
And so for us, this creation of content is a place where we can control the value. We can help shape the narrative, and we can actually not only further our brand, but then also work with great partners like the Hello Sunshines of the world that we know has this long history of everything they touch turns to gold. And so that's really been the thesis behind how we've approached our content and a lot of the things that we're doing from a streaming perspective.
Do you think, I'm going to put you somewhat on the spot here, but I'm a CMO and I'm thinking about content. Should I look for that happy medium between owning and sponsoring it? Or does it really matter? Does it depend on other factors?
I think the happy medium, look, we do product placement. You know, we partner with MEI. We do product placement. We had 3 placements this season, for instance, in Hacks, and they've done phenomenal for us. And so we look for those opportunities as well. If you've got the ability to, and a lot of brands have done this. I mean, we're not unique in this approach, but if you have the opportunity to go in and actually create and kind of monetize your own content, that gets you that much further along. I believe that's where the industry is going. I believe that's how a lot of advertising is going to be able to break the ad-free model and how you're going to really be able to capture the attention of consumers. And so to me, it's as much get your sea legs and understand it now, right, so that you can be really good at it when it's the norm and not the exception.
And it goes without saying, but I'll say it. When you own it, you mentioned the control word, and that's really, then you can just go and test and learn and adjust on the fly.
Right. Exactly. It's all about, I'm a big fail fast person. If you're going to go into things and you've got to learn, fail fast, iterate, and move on. And, our foray into content, we learned a lot of things with what we did with Side Hustlers. We learned a lot in terms of distribution, promotion, all of those things. We'll apply those now to For the W and future content that we do. And it just makes it better, and it makes us better.
So speaking of learning, you did I can't remember what, it's your first Super Bowl ad in streaming?
Yeah, we did a couple of years ago. It actually went really well, and it was a fun ad. You know, we promoted our savings bucket. We created an actual giant bucket in the middle of the desert and dropped things into it, and we had a whole promotion around it. So we were able to do a lot of lead collection, and the price point was right for us. We're just not the kind of brand that's got the budget to do a normal Super Bowl ad, unfortunately, and probably never will. And so for us, it felt also like authentic to who we are, because we're always preaching about saving, and we're always preaching about being smart with your money. And so for me to go spend $15 million to do a Super Bowl ad seems antithetical to the things that we preach to our consumer. So there was like this genuine authenticity just in terms of the way that we approached it and how we showed up as well, that I really liked.
I love that you're so cognizant. And when I say you, I mean the whole company or your marketing team is so cognizant of the antithetical look it would have if you ran a traditional Super Bowl spot, because the consumer knows more than we think they know.
Yeah, they do.
And they're going to go, wait a minute, you spent how much on the Super Bowl?
Right. Don't tell me how to save my money if you're going to go drop that much money on a Super Bowl ad. Yeah.
So I love that you have that cognitive thought of, wait a minute, optics here.
Yeah. It was a big part of the conversation, and that was a big part of the message as we talked about it, and we really liked that aspect of it. And so hopefully we'll get the opportunity again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you will, but did it show you anything? Did it teach you anything about consumer attention or brand storytelling? Like, what are some, and I'm going to ask you again to speak to CMOs who are thinking, oh, I didn't even realize we can do a streaming Super Bowl ad. I thought there was only broadcast.
Neither did I, candidly. And I've been at this game for a long time, right? So that in and of itself was an incredible learning. The big audience, which we really liked. Harder to garner attention on, like there's no polling for the things that ran in streaming only. So you don't get the PR attention around it the same way. We had to create our own earned media through what we did with the sweepstakes. And that was a little bit of a heavier lift. And so there's pluses and minuses to it. Big audience, if I recall correctly, it was a huge audience. I think even over 17 million for streaming alone. So it was a good audience. It was a big reach and impact moment, but a heavier lift in terms of creating more of that ripple effect, which is certainly what the traditional Super Bowl ads do.
Right. And you have to be aware of that going in, that we're not going to get the same metrics.
Right. Absolutely. You have to look at it. We've got this thing, Steve, that we call our visibility moments. And as part of our media strategy, and our visibility moments are when can we go out and just reach a big piece of media, even if it's a one and done. Couple years ago, that Adele concert that Adele did in LA. And that was a big visibility reach moment. And we were lucky enough to pick up a couple of spots in that. And those are the ways that we've been able to punch above our weight and feel bigger than we really are. I'm never going to be able to own College Game Day. I just don't have to take my whole damn budget. But if I can get those big moments and get like 5 or 10 of them during the course of the year, it helps us feel bigger than we really are. And it's been a really instructive and big part of our strategy.
Yeah, and it shows. It really does. As a consumer with no real vested interest, I see the work you guys do, and it comes across loud and clear. And I say that with complete transparency.
Thank you. We're in a crazy category. Annual spend in the financial services category is $55 billion a year. We're less than 2% of that share of voice. Wow. But I would argue we're probably one of the louder marketers in the category. I was talking to a colleague of mine who's in the financial services category, CMO, and she's like, just tell me, how much you guys spend? She's like, you got to spend $1 billion a year, right? And I'm like, not even close. And she was shocked. She's like, you feel like $1 billion a year brand.
That had to make you feel amazing.
It does. Because she's a multi-billion-dollar brand in the category. Right. So it made me feel really good. And I have such an awesome team. They're so creative. They're so smart about their use of media. They root out just incredible opportunities. And then the way they activate is next level. And, I always joke, I'm the looks, they're the brains.
Well, in my case, I'm neither, but that's another story. Okay. This one's interesting as hell for me about that balancing act between data and instinct, right? Especially in AI. Oh my God. Right. Yeah. As a CMO, like how do you, and I guess to your team, right, go, wait a minute, hold on. I know the data is saying one thing, but my gut says this or vice versa. Where's the balancing act?
I am a big golden gut CMO, and I make that very well known. In fact, you'll laugh at this, but we had a new CFO that started 2 years ago. And in my immersion session with him on our analytics page, it was kind of a how we measure. And we listed, like 5 things. And the first 4 were analytical ways we measure. And point 5 was Andrea's golden gut. And he laughed, and I said, I'm not kidding. And I said, things either strike me or they don't. And if they don't strike me, we're not going to do them. And if they do, I've been doing this for a long time. Man, Steve, I'm going on 30 years. And I think one of the hallmarks of my career has been my ability to see around corners and to just intuitively feel things. And I think as CMOs, you have to demonstrate the bravery to do those things, right? Give you a good example. We're a founding partner of Unrivaled, the basketball league that Breonna Stewart and Nafisa Collier created. We started talking to those guys 3 years ago, before they had almost any plans whatsoever. And we said to them right away, we're in. So you just keep us posted as these plans come together. We're coming in as a founding partner. And their inaugural season, they absolutely crushed it. Numbers were huge. The social media was incredible. The buzz around it was incredible. I wouldn't have done that if I looked at the metrics because there were no metrics. There were no.
That's it. So
you just have to, I think, lead from the front and demonstrate to that to your team. And if stuff doesn't work, I'm the first one to say it didn't work. I had a hunch and it didn't work.
But you also have to have, and you clearly do, the autonomy to fail.
Yeah. I'm lucky. Look, I'm 6 CEOs in 17 years that I've been at Ally, 2 since I've been in the CMO chair. Both have been the type of leaders that very much believe in giving me the space to do what I need to do. And that is the big reason I've always stayed at Ally, to be honest with you. But I think what they appreciate is that when we're right on a hunch, we'll take a victory lap. When we're wrong, I will be the first one to say, bad investment. Yep. Here's what we learned from it. Here's what we lost. Here's what we're going to do better next time. And I think that's really gained a lot of credibility for myself and the team, because we're not painting everything with these rose-colored glasses, and we're also not trying to hide things.
Remind me and us, how long have you been in the CMO seat at Ally?
11 years.
You realize the anomaly that is.
Yeah, I do.
All right. But I brought it up for that reason. You just spoke to the 2 CEOs you've had. That's not a coincidence.
Yeah. And you never know, right? Especially when a new CEO comes in. But I'm a big believer that the more aligned you are with being able to execute the CEO's vision and open lines of communication and clearly understanding that, and being able to have the respectful dissent and the open, honest conversations, it makes the relationship so much stronger. And also recognizing, like, at the end of the day, they're the CEO. And so I think that's the kind of relationship that I've had with both. Michael now new in his chair, and it's been an awesome transition for me, because I can have really honest conversations with him, and I can push back when I don't agree. And I know when he's serious and when to shut my mouth and do what he wants me to do.
Relationships at their core, I preach to so many people. They have so many similarities, whether they're professional or personal.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. We're going to wrap up with some fun.
Let's do it.
You do the random 5. I pull 5 random questions out of this massive database.
Uh-oh.
It's to get to know the Andrea Brimmer personal.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to put you on the spot on the very first one. I apologize. It just came out like this. But if your life had a theme song, what would it be and why?
Oh, geez.
Take a second.
It's Fort Minor, Remember the Name.
Okay.
And I think that's definitely my theme song.
Why?
I think because of what we talked about. I've tried to live a life of impact, and would love to be remembered that way. It's not going to be, when I die, it's not going to say on my tombstone, Andrea Brimmer, CMO. It's going to be, hopefully about the impact that I've made, and that notion of hopefully people remembering that.
Yeah. Okay. If you could ban one buzzword from your industry forever, what would it be and why? What would it be and why? You only have to. You only get to pick one, because Lord knows they're
unpack.
There you go.
So sick of hearing people say, "Let's unpack that."
Understood. I got it. Next, what's a trend or fad? You got to be honest now, that you went way too hard on, and now pretend you didn't.
How about the metaverse?
Okay. I like that.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure I don't know if you were going fashion or whatever, but okay.
No, I'm on point with my fashion, Steve. I'm on point with my fashion.
I can see that.
I got my own unique look.
You do. Okay. You ready? Biggest celebrity crush now or as a kid?
David Beckham.
You didn't even pause. You didn't.
Nope. Mic drop. Period. End of story. Soccer player.
Take a second.
Soccer player, good guy, cooks, cleans. He's as anal about cleaning as I am, and looks good and everything.
Have you met him?
No, I haven't.
Oh, so if I could ever make that happen. Okay.
I don't think my husband would be very happy about that.
Well, okay. Okay, last one. Complete the sentence. I'm at my best when?
I'm at my best when I have the ability to think in unconstricted ways. And that for me is like in all aspects. I hate when things are overthought, or I self-edit, or others around me self-edit. I value and love unconstricted thinking, the art of the possible in every aspect, personally and professionally.
I knew there's many reasons why we get along, and that's just one of them, because I am asking why.
Yeah, look, I'm a big believer in positivity. I mean, if I was to be self-critical, I'm always a glass is half full person. And maybe sometimes that's led me down some bad paths, or I trust everyone. I find the good in everything. And when I'm unconstricted to not think about the bad, I think it just produces better results, and it takes the toxicity out of your life. And those are the things that I value, especially as I've gotten older.
I'm curious, what's your astrological sign?
I'm a Gemini. Just had my birthday in May.
I'm a Scorpio. And
you're a stinger.
You definitely have some Scorpio tendencies, though, because you're very passionate.
Yep.
Like I always say, I will trust you until you give me a reason not to.
Yeah. Even then, I still trust. Maybe I'm too trusting, but.
No, I am too. It takes people in my life. Yeah, exactly. Too many chances.
Yeah.
Listen, what a treasure. What a pleasure it is to have you on. I'm so glad we reconnected. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. It's always good to see you, and appreciate you taking an interest in having a chat with me and talking about the Ally story.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the CMO Whisperer Show. I hope you shared this episode with your friends. And if you have not already, please subscribe to be kept up to date on all the latest episodes. And if you're so inclined, leave me a review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you.